Making headlines this hour, Minister of Finance and Planning Musa Zamir states that the government's economic reforms have attracted interest from both local and international investors, including large global companies. Deputy Speaker of Parliament Ahmed Nazim issues a compelling call to action for the Human Rights Commission of the Maldives, urging it to embark on a new chapter dedicated to providing the public with truthful and timely information. And the president of the Maldives Olympic Committee, Mohammad Abdul Sattar, says significant work is underway to strengthen governance and management standards across sports association in the Maldives. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PSM News in English with me, Abdullah Ahil. And now the news in detail. The Minister of Finance and Planning, Musa Zamir, expresses optimism by saying that investors are fully confident on Maldives' ability to meet its debt obligations due to the measures implemented under the leadership of President Dr. Mohamed Muiz. He added that this is the result of 2 years of disciplined, deliberate efforts made by the President. The previous administration issued a $500 million Sukuk 2021. The interest payment on the Sukuk has to be made with two tranches of $25 million each, a total of $50 million per year. A relatively large amount, $603.1 million has been specifically included for the repayment of the bond this year. One of the most pressing issues discussed when the current administration came into office was the state's ability to repay the immense debt obligation and avoid bankruptcy. This rhetoric was also reflected in various reports from different financial bodies. Minister Zamir pointed at these facts and said that over the last 2 years, many have doubted the government's ability to navigate past the risk of bankruptcy. The minister also said that the value of the bond issued by the government was significantly devalued due to the bankruptcy risks. Reflecting this statement was a report from Finance Ministry that showed that the value of the Sukuk was 64 cents per US dollar. Government measures to prioritize timely debt repayment led to the Sukuk value appreciating, the minister noted. The minister also pointed out the fact that previous administration sold the Sukuk at a very high interest rate and that the current administration's efforts to repay these debts obligations on a timely manner have shored up investor confidence. The Sukuk is currently valued and holding at an average $90. The government has planned and budgeted for the Sukuk repayment in 2026, and according to the minister, work is currently being carried out to ensure the timely repayment of this debt obligation. Minister of Finance and Planning Musa Zamir states that the government's economic reforms have attracted interest from both local and international investors, including large global companies. The minister made the statement while speaking at the inauguration ceremony of the practical work of the land reclamation project for the development of the Diddu Airport. The minister said the changes are part of broader development efforts and its positive results are already being witnessed. He said investor interest in projects reflect this, adding that globally recognized companies are expressing interest in undertaking land reclamation projects in the Maldives. He added that the government will ensure that companies contracted for development projects have the necessary capacity and expertise to carry out the projects successfully. Denying rumors that the government intends to hand over the management of the Malé commercial port to a foreign company, the minister assured that President Dr. Mohamed Muiz would not take any steps in a way that do not benefit the people and that all decisions are made in the people's interest. The minister highlighted the current administration's focus on sustainable planning and said previous projects in the Maldives lacked planning and sustainability. He stated the current administration under President Muiz is pursuing a more structured, people-focused approach. The parliament approved Dr. Aishat Ramila for the position of President of the Human Rights Commission of Maldives, or HRCM. Nominated for the position by President Dr. Mohamed Muiz, the nomination was accepted by the Parliament's Human Rights and Gender Committee on the 5th of January. In an extraordinary Parliament session, her nomination was approved unanimously with 38 votes based on the committee's report. Dr. Aishat Ramila was first approved as a member of HRCM by the Parliament in a ceremony held on the 29th of October 2025 and was formally appointed as a commissioner on December 3rd. Due to the completion of Mariam Muna's term as the former commission president, this position has now become vacant, leading to Dr. Ramila's nomination by the president. Previously, she was appointed as the first agriculture and animal welfare minister by the current administration, but resigned in December 2024, citing health reasons. HRCM comprises of 5 members, with Muhammad Shafiq Mahmood as vice president and Samao Ahmad Najib, Ismail Habib, Abdul Rahman, Ahmad Maqsoom, and Dr. Aishat Ramila. Deputy Speaker of Parliament Ahmad Nazim issues a compelling call to action for the Human Rights Commission of the Maldives, or HRCM, urging it to embark on a new chapter dedicated to providing the public with truthful and timely information. The appeal was made during an extraordinary parliamentary session convened to grant approval on the president's nomination to lead HRCM, emphasizing the HRCM's foundational mandate to protect human rights in accordance with international standards. The deputy speaker underscored the critical need for the body to operate with complete independence. He noted that while successive governments have the opportunity to appoint new members to the commission every 5 years, he firmly stated that no member should be politically aligned, asserting that impartiality is paramount for its credibility. Identifying the rampant spread of false information as one of the biggest problems facing Maldives, the deputy speaker positioned the HRCM as a vital part of the solution. He specifically highlighted the Commission's responsibility to take a leading role in disseminating accurate details regarding health and status of individuals arrested during demonstrations, countering the swirl of rumors that often follow such events. Nazim called for a more proactive and visible presence from the Commission, including having members physically observe protests to understand the situation on the ground firsthand. The president of the Maldives Olympic Committee, or MOC, Muhammad Abdul Sattar, says significant work is underway to strengthen governance and management standards across sports associations in the Maldives. Speaking on PSM News, Abdul Sattar said the government's current approach to sports development is firmly rooted in improving governance frameworks and building human capacity within national sports bodies. He noted that the administration's vision places strong emphasis on institutional reform alongside capacity development programs designed to enhance leadership, management, and technical expertise within associations. Abdul Sattar also highlighted the close working relationship between the Ministry of Sports, Fitness and Recreation, MOSFR, and the MOC, describing it as both effective and collaborative. He said the two institutions are working in tandem towards shared objectives aimed at elevating the standards of Maldivian sport. Stressing the importance of robust administration, he said strengthening the management of sports associations is a collective effort involving the ministry, the MOC, and the association themselves. Abdul Sattar warned that a lack of coordination between the ministry and the MOC would ultimately have negative consequences for athlete development, underlining that effective governance at the administrative level is essential for sporting success. Looking ahead, he expressed hope that the ongoing initiatives would result in well-coordinated and professionally managed sports associations capable of governing effectively. He placed particular emphasis on sound financial management, describing proper bookkeeping and budget oversight as a key priority for the future development of sports in the Maldives. According to Minister of Youth Empowerment, Information and Arts Ibrahim Wahid, the ambitious project to establish a dedicated media village for local media outlets is now 70% complete. The announcement was made during a press conference held at the President's office, highlighting the significant progress on this key government initiative. The media village, a cornerstone of President Dr. Mohamed Muizz's development pledges, will be housed within the former City Hotel building in Hulumale Phase 1. Originally constructed by the State Trading Organization or STO 17 years ago, the structure was handed over to World of Business Private Limited in August of last year for redevelopment. It is now being transformed into the Manhattan Grand Complex, a multi-purpose facility that will also host a youth center, a medical college, and a heritage college. This project aligns with the President's pledge to bolster the media sector, which includes dedicating a percentage of the state budget to media support. In collaboration with the ministry, the Maldives Media and Broadcasting Commission, or MMBC, has already identified 39 eligible media outlets to receive financial assistance, marking a significant step in empowering local journalism. Maldives Media and Broadcasting Commission, or MMBC, states that in collaboration with the Ministry of Youth Empowerment, Information and Arts, 39 media outlets are earmarked to receive state funding and that the disbursement cycle is currently ongoing. MMBC has stated that schedule of payments to the media outlets for 2025 was sent to the Youth Ministry on the 30th of December. From the initial 41 media houses eligible for funding, one company was found to run 2 media outlets, resulting in payments currently being held for these 2 outlets. The Commission said that discussions were held with the media house in question and that payments are currently on hold until the issue can be resolved. In a press release from MMBC, the Commission has stated that 40 media outlets have been approved, marking the deduction of the company with 2 media outlets, and that they are working on showcasing changes through the media app in order to provide more transparency throughout the process. Private media outlets that requested state financial assistance in 2025 were evaluated under a rubric according to MMBC. The criteria for funding have also been revised under the new policy. Allocation will now be based on the media house's progress in administrative capacity, infrastructure, public service content, and public awareness, educational qualifications of staffs with marks awarded in each area. The number of employees will also be considered in awarding marks. In 2026, 0.1% of the state budget, or $1.75 million has been allocated for media support. The Youth Empowerment Ministry will act solely as an intermediary, forwarding the MMBC's finalized list and payment instructions directly to the Ministry of Finance and Planning without any additions or alterations. This year, all eligible media outlets will receive the total amount in one payment. This marks the first time private media outlets receive funding as part of the state budget. A high-level delegation from the Global Sumud Flotilla, or GSF, an international nonviolent humanitarian initiative advocating for Palestinians in Gaza, arrives in the Maldives for an official visit from the 6th to the 8th of January. The GSF is a coordinated independent fleet of vessels sailing from ports across the Mediterranean aimed at delivering humanitarian assistance, raising international awareness of the crisis in Gaza, and challenging the Israeli blockade of the territory. The visiting delegation includes members of the GSF Steering Committee, Thiago Avila, Saif Abu Keshek, Nadir Al-Nouri, and Cleoniki Alexopolo. During their stay, the delegation is scheduled to meet senior government officials, representatives of civil society organizations, and staff from relevant agencies. The meetings will focus on outlining the objectives of the Global Sumud Flotilla, sharing experiences from international advocacy efforts for Palestine, and discussing the initiative's future plans. According to the International Aid Campaign, or IAC, the GSF's visit aligns with the Maldives' broader humanitarian engagement and advocacy on global platforms. The IAC said a key aim aim of the visit is to strengthen national participation in international humanitarian initiatives undertaken by organizations such as the GSF. The Global Samud Flotilla describes itself as a collective international response to the prolonged humanitarian crisis in Gaza. It has consistently sought to draw attention to conditions in the territory and to advocate for the rights of the Palestinian people. Launched in mid-July last year, the initiative is founded on principles of non-violence and peace-building. Its stated objective is to provide humanitarian aid while campaigning for Palestinians' right to access their coastline and live with dignity. According to the Central Bank, Maldives Monetary Authority or MMA monthly statistics report, the Maldives recorded a dramatic 87% increase in fish exports in 2025 compared to the previous year. From January to November 2025, the country exported a total of 69,564 metric tons of fish, up from 37,213 metric tons during the same period in 2024. The surge was largely driven by a 105% rise in frozen fish exports, which reached 61,281 metric tons, up from 29,910 metric tons a year earlier. Exports of canned and pouched fish also grew, increasing by 9.4% to 5,788 metric tons from 5,289 metric tons. Additionally, processed fish exports saw a significant 34.9% growth, with 1,745 metric tons shipped abroad by November 2024. As fish remains the largest component of the nation's export revenue, the government is prioritizing the expansion of the fisheries sector by boosting fish processing and cold storage capacity. The Ministry of Fisheries and Marine Resources aims to increase processing capacity ninefold within the next 3 years to sustain export growth and strengthen the industry's contribution to the national economy. Maldives Airports Company Limited or MACL CEO and Managing Director Ibrahim Sharif Mohammed hails the commencement of a land reclamation for the Diddu Airport project as a transformative milestone for the Northern Atoll. Speaking at a groundbreaking ceremony marking the start of dredging operations, Sharif emphasized that the project will significantly boost the local economy and elevate Diddu into a regional hub. The project, which involves adding 115 hectares of reclaimed land, effectively doubling the island's size, will resolve chronic land shortages, enabling the construction of an airport, housing, and essential services. To accelerate progress, one of the world's largest dredgers, Liv Eriksson, has been deployed. He said MACL, already managing key airports including the Valana International Airport or VIA and Hanimadu International Airport, is simultaneously executing 3 major reclamation projects across the Maldives. Sharif urged the island's residents to seize emerging opportunities, envisioning a modern, expanded Diddu as a thriving center of commerce and connectivity in the region. Insights into world business, AMD CEO Lisa Su shows off a number of the company's AI chips at the CES trade show in Las Vegas, including its advanced MI455 AI processors, which are components in the data center server racks that the company is selling to firms like ChatGPT maker OpenAI. Su also unveiled the MI440X, a version of the MI400 series chip designed for on-premise use at businesses. The so-called enterprise version is designed to fit into infrastructure that is not specifically designed for AI clusters. The MI440X is a version of an earlier chip that the US plans to use in a supercomputer.
Each Helios compute tray includes 4 MI455 GPUs, and they're paired with the next-gen EPYC Venice CPU and Pensando networking chips. And all of this is liquid-cooled so that we can maximize performance.
AMD is one of NVIDIA's strongest rivals but has struggled to have as much success. In October, AMD signed a deal with OpenAI that, in addition to the financial upside, was a major vote of confidence in AMD's AI chips and software. Analysts said, but it is unlikely to dent NVIDIA's dominance as the market leader continues to sell every AI chip it can make. At the Monday event, OpenAI President Greg Brockman joined Su on stage and said chip advancements were critical to OpenAI's vast computing needs. Taking a look at international affairs, South Korean President Lee Jae-myung meets Chinese Premier Li Qiang and the chairman of China's National People's Congress, Zhao Leji, in Beijing. During his meeting with Lee noted that this was their third encounter following last year's G20 and APEC summits and said Lee feels like a very close friend. In another meeting with Zhao, Lee said he understood Zhao had played a key role for other South Korean officials' visit to China ahead of his state visit. Lee met Chinese President Xi Jinping earlier as part of his first state visit to China since taking office in June. The two countries signed 15 agreements at the summit, according to South Korean and Chinese broadcasters, including documents on technology, intellectual property, and transportation cooperation. Updates in sports. Liam Rosnior is confirmed as Chelsea's new head coach following the sacking of Enzo Maresca. The 41-year-old has signed a deal until 2032 to manage the London club, becoming the fourth full-time head coach appointed since American Todd Bowley's 2022 takeover. He said that he is extremely honored and humbled to be given this opportunity. Rose Sr. took charge of Strasbourg in July 2024 after coaching spells at Derby County and Hull City. In his first season, he led them to European qualification for the first time in 19 years. Concluding with more lighter news, carving silently across Lake Mead, a reservoir situated about 30 minutes southeast of Las Vegas, Nevada, the Arc Sport EV boat offers a glimpse of a future where water sports leave nothing behind but a clean wake. Built by California-based startup Arc, the all-electric wake sport boat is the company's bold bet that the marine world is ready to go electric.
We are sitting on the Arc Sport. It's a fully electric wake sport boat, 23 feet, 500 horsepower. It has a giant battery on board, and it gives you hours of fun out on the water without any of the fumes, any of the noise, any of the maintenance burdens of a gas boat.
Designed by a team of former Tesla and Rivian engineers, the 23-foot Arc Sport EV brings Silicon Valley thinking to the shoreline. With 500 horsepower delivered by an electric drivetrain, Arc says the boat is quicker, quieter, and cheaper to maintain than traditional gas-powered rivals while producing zero harmful emissions in the air or water. According to Lee, the boat supports an average of 4 to 6 hours of active use on a single charge with an overnight charge on a level 2 charger, delivering a full battery by morning. Beyond the powertrain, Arc leans heavily into software. A large central touchscreen lets drivers configure displays, balance systems, control surfaces, and cruise control with a tap. Lee argues the case for going electric makes even more sense on water than on roads. But Arc's technology comes at a premium. The Arc Sport EV boat starts at $268,000. Demand, he says, hasn't been an issue. For Arc, the Arc Sport EV boat is just the beginning. Lee says the Los Angeles-based startup is now focused on scaling production and expanding its electric platform into fishing boats, leisure craft, and even commercial vessels like tugboats and ferries. And that's all the news we have for today. We'll be back with any further updates. Until then, I'm Abdullah Ahil from PSM News.